Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to officially update you big breaking news now coming out from the media that I've currently been reading last night and this morning, and this is now regarding Paul Pogba from Manchester United. As I currently said, so big breaking news has updated about Pogba that reportedly, according to a few media outlets, Inter Milan are reportedly willing to pay an astounding up to £200 million for Paul Pogba, because we know Juventus have been linked to him and he said he could potentially make a return back to Juventus. But reportedly, Inter Milan are looking to hijack Juventus' move for Paul Pogba as well. And reportedly, there could be two of Inter Milan's players that Manchester United have been linked with involved in the deal as well. This is according to Beppe Marotta. It's just recently confirmed. I don't know if it has been officially announced yet that he's the new Inter Milan CEO. He's a player, obviously, used to be the Juventus director for just under a decade. Obviously, he has a relationship with Paul Pogba and all that. And I think currently Paul Pogba's agent, Riley Ola, basically wants him to leave Manchester United. And I think he wants him potentially to make a return to Juventus. But reportedly, this would make him the most expensive player if he actually was to go to Inter Milan. Inter Milan we're going to pay £200 million for him. But if there's two of the players involved, obviously it won't be £200 million. Obviously the fee will be reduced, probably by about £100 million. So I think it should come out in a media outlet that if the two of the players are involved in the deal, it will be about £101 million fee. So it will be a players plus cash deal as well. But potentially, I think it'd be £200 million if none of the players weren't involved. If none of the players was involved in the deal, I think it would be 200 million. But I think obviously this will convince Jose Mourinho now to sanction Paul Pogba, because obviously Marotta has confirmed that Inter Milan basically do need to sanction a player or two off. Obviously due to that they're under financial player regulations. Obviously Inter Milan are willing to sanction Perisic off as part of the deal to help them to sign Pogba, and Milan Skriniar as well, who's centre back, can also play as a defensive midfielder as well. So reportedly, Inter Milan are looking to sanction them off to get Paul Pogba, according to the press as well. But it come out that Paul Pogba did say that he does basically want to leave Old Trafford. He confirmed this. He told the Juventus players that he wants to leave Old Trafford, and he did say he wanted to potentially make a return back to Turin. Obviously, Manchester United did pay £89 million, so he hasn't really proven himself well in English football as Paul Pogba, as we all currently know. We paid £89 million for him, as we all know. So potentially, if Inter Milan, if these two were part of the deal, obviously they'd probably pay around £101 million fee, so we'd make around a 12 million profit. If they were willing to pay 200 million, that would make him the most expensive player. And also too, we'd make about 111 million profit on the current player as well. Because as I said, he had 4 or 5 good years in Turin. He left in 2012 because he wasn't getting enough first team action under Alex Ferguson. And he won honours in that with Juventus and made 179 appearances with Juventus, did Paul Pogba. But we know that he hasn't had the best relationship with Jose Mourinho since he's come to the club. He has had disputes with Jose Mourinho, and Jose Mourinho's had disputes, as I said, with quite a few of the top players, as I said. But essentially, according to Riley Earl, now he's fixed his relationship up with Jose Mourinho as a Paul Pogba. Potentially, he got taken off in the second half yesterday. Did Paul Pogba, obviously, because he didn't perform well yesterday, and potentially Mourinho had took him off. So potentially for me, I think Man United will go along with this. If Milan are preparing to offload two of the players as part of the deal of Inter Milan potentially getting Paul Pogba. But reportedly, it says they are willing to pay up to £200 million for the player. I think they're willing to pay up to £200 million for the player. Obviously, they have to sanction some players off, obviously, to avoid financial fair play. sanctions as well. I don't think Inter Milan can they sign. I don't think they can sign players in January. I think they can, have discussions, come to agreements, but I don't think they can officially sign a player until like next June. Is it next summer? But potentially, there has been rumours about this £200 million and this players plus cash deal, but I don't think Man United have potentially been in any discussions with Inter Milan at this moment in time. So, what do you think to this situation about actually Paul Pogba potentially going, and the Ivan Perisic situation? It did say basically with Ivan Perisic that Inter Milan were demanding that they only wanted £31 million for Ivan Perisic because Manchester United were linked to him last summer. Edward was been discussions with Inter Milan over this. I think Man United had a couple of bids turned down. Potentially, he's a highly experienced winger. As I said, he's not world class. Inter Milan were demanding £48 million last summer. Man United were reluctant to pay up to £48 million for Ivan Perisic. He can play as a winner, can play as attacking mid, can play as a second striker. And he would be beneficial for Manchester United, and I think he would dramatically improve us. The potential they've reduced the price tag of Inter Milan because obviously he hasn't been to his potential this season. He hasn't been his best for Inter Milan this season. He has scored his first hat-trick for Inter Milan, had made his 100th appearance, had become the first world player, the first Croatian player to score in a World Cup final as well. Ivan Perisic, and he is highly rated, and he is 29 years of age. Is Ivan Perisic, but I think he's a very, very good player. But potentially he does have a good relationship with Lucy Spelter, the current Inter Milan manager. But reportedly Inter Milan are looking to sanction him off. He was good. I thought he was good at Dortmund. He was good at Wolfsburg in them days. Also good in his club Bruges as well. Why won on as Ivan Perisic as well. But potentially he could be involved in the deal of Inter Milan getting Paul Pogba, and obviously Perisic and Milan Skriniar coming to Manchester United. Coming to Manchester United. But I do like Perisic to be quite fair with you. But potentially Inter Milan are demanding that one around £31 million. But now he could be involved with part of the deal of Pogba going to Inter Milan and Perisic coming to Old Trafford. But obviously Man U last summer were not willing to pay the £48 million. Obviously that Inter Milan were demanding for the current player, as I said, and also to Milan Skriniar, he's also been another potential Manchester United target because Jose Mourinho is obviously looking to address the defensive issues. For my potential, I do want Jose Mourinho out of his club now, potentially because we're not in the position that we should be in. Milan Skriniar's rated at around £100 million, not 100, sorry, £70 million. Reportedly, Man United have been interested in him. Chelsea have also showed an interest in him because they're looking to strengthen their central defensive area as well. Reportedly, he's rated around £70 million. He has been in Milan since 2017. I think he's made 48 appearances. He is 23 years of age. He can play as centre-back. He can play as a defensive midfield, and it would be good to see Manchester United get a centre back in his a young centre back in, centre back basically that's still in the prime years. Milan Skriniar I've never really watched much of, and I know back in 2016 he got voted the best under 21 player award. Did Milan Skriniar, but reportedly there's been a few teams monitoring an interest, but he also could be part of the deal as well. Milan Skriniar and Perisic come to United, and Pogba to go to Inter Milan, and a fee involved as well for Pogba going to Inter Milan. But it wouldn't be it wouldn't be £200 million with these two players involved. I don't think. I think it'd be £200 million if Inter Milan were not willing to offer two of their players involved in the deal. But it's obviously, according to the press, it did say they're willing to pay £200 million. But according to the press, it's likely that two of the players are going to be involved in the deal as well, because I think Mourinho is going to go along with this. I can't see Mourinho turning this down. So potentially, but potentially I said, we are going to raise quite a bit of money for Pogba if he does go to Inter Milan. But that's not the point. Reportedly, Jose Mourinho is going to get tens of £millions spent in January. he's been having discussions with Ed Woodward about this, but potentially I wouldn't trust Jose Mourinho with this money, and that's just basically my opinion on this. We know Jose Mourinho's had disputes with the top players, especially he came out in the Spanish interview we had and he was talking about Lingard, Martial, Rashford, and Luke Shaw, talking about the lack of maturity, the lack of character, the lack personality. And this is what he said in terms of potential, Mourinho and the lack of Jones, but he said in terms of potential, they do have great potential. I think what he meant is young players these days lack character. I think that's what Jose Mourinho meant in the interview. I think it was spoken in Spanish was the interview, but then it confirmed on Friday. I think it translated all in English. I think it was quite a few months ago this happened anyway. But potentially for me, Mourinho, as I said, he's had disputes with Ed Woodward. Obviously, he was frustrated during the course of the summer that he couldn't get a strong central defender in, and he was frustrated that he couldn't get the players in there that he wanted. Jose Mourinho, he's bought 11 players and he's spent just under £400 million since he's come to the club. It's his third season now at the club. He's only won 3 trophies now since he's come to the club. Like yesterday, after the Palace game, this season, if you think about it, we've hardly kept any clean sheets. We've only won 3 games at Old Trafford all season. We've dropped points that we shouldn't be dropping. We've dropped points against Wolves at Old Trafford, rubbish in that game. Dropped points at Chelsea, a game we should have won. Lost at West Ham. Lost against Brighton at the Amex, like we have done twice in 2 seasons. Lost at home to Tottenham. Potentially we are just basically not in good form, and I can tell you something else as well. Potentially we've got Arsenal Liverpool coming up very, very soon. Mourinho said he wants to get top 4 by January. I think we are sitting, 7 points now behind top 4, is it? 14 points behind City, 12 points behind Liverpool. Potentially for me, the target is Manchester United have to get top 4 this season and to get Champions League for next season. And potentially, Jose Mourinho's style of play, his managerial style, it's just not happening. And I think the strappings of the club just basically too high for Mourinho. I think he's had a good pedigree. He's proven in the Premier League. But I just don't think he's Manchester United manager, and he isn't proving it me now. And this season, I can tell you, we at Manchester United, the games we have won, all of the games, apart from one game, Manchester United have won by only 1 goal. We've won every game this season apart from one game by 1 goal. The only game we won by a higher goal deficit was Burnley 2-0. So the highest we've won this season is by a 2-goal deficit. As you can see, Liverpool win this season winning by 3 goal deficit. City this season winning by 4, and 3 and 4 goal deficits in that. But Manchester United have only once this season won one game by more than a 1-goal deficit. So that could just prove how much we're lacking goals, how bad we are defensively. That just proves, and I think Mourinho needs to leave Manchester United immediately, because yesterday he said it was a very, very bad result. Did Mourinho after the Palace game? We could have quite easily lost that game yesterday. Mourinho said how much a bad result it was. He said not. We didn't show enough heart, didn't show enough desire. This is what he mentioned, and he said we didn't show enough intensity as well. That's what Jose Mourinho ultimately said. He said we didn't press enough. There's no creativeness in the team. There's no penetration. There's no speed. Can't string passes together. And I just don't know what's going on. And we're just so boring to watch. And this is it. And we had these chances yesterday. There were 2 disallowed goals. Palace also had 2. I think they had the 2 best chances. Arnaujo and Andy Townsend. Palace had 2 of the best chances in that game. Potentially for me, I don't know what Mourinho does. You got 3 players during the course of the summer. You got Doyle in, you got Fred in, and you got Lee Grant in second choice keeper. Doyle has hardly played. I think he's been injured though. I thought he was going to make his Premier League debut yesterday. Potentially for me though, Fred. He paid £50 million for. He was on the bench. Mourinho didn't start him. Didn't bring him on again. Mourinho should have brought him on. Instead of, why does he bring Fellaini on as a plan B? This is what I don't get. I know he's proven himself against Palace well in the past, but obviously he's made his debut against Palace Fellaini back in 2013 when he came to the club. He scored twice against them in the fixture last season as well. Potentially, he needs to stop doing that. Just Jose Mourinho is tactically wrong. And potentially, I think the board need to react now on Jose Mourinho. I think they need to react now instead of backing Jose Mourinho. The board are reportedly backing him. I wouldn't trust Jose Mourinho with this money. I think regardless whoever we get in, I just don't think we're going to be a changed team under Jose Mourinho. I think his style of play is atrocious. I think he's changed the whole identity since he's come into the club. The whole style of play has changed. And look at the money we've spent since Alex Ferguson's retired. Look at the money we've spent. We spent like £1 billion. We know City have spent a lot of money. Liverpool spent quite a bit of money, but we have spent a lot more money than that. And the money we spent, a big club like us, the history with this club, the history of this club, the 3 decades success we had with Ferguson, and the history of Jose Mourinho, which potentially we should be much more of a commanding position than we're in. We shouldn't be sitting with seventh. What just before December, we're sitting seventh. We could be dropped back to eighth if Bournemouth win today or the Bournemouth play tomorrow. We are absolutely nowhere near on the same level as City or Liverpool this season or Chelsea, or especially the top European side. Nowhere near until basically we get a new manager in, because I just think Jose Mourinho doesn't have a clue what he's doing at the club. Potentially said there's a lot of players coming to end the deals at the club as well. So potentially, what do you think to the Paul Pogba situation? He could potentially be leaving the club as well. Potentially Paul Pogba could be leaving the club as well. Reportedly now Inter Milan are looking to hijack Juventus' move for the player. Reportedly they're willing to pay up to £200 million for him. Reportedly, it's also said, according to this new director of Inter Milan, Marotta, reportedly he's confirmed Inter Milan are willing to involve sanction two of the players off due to their financial fair play, and it's likely these two players will be involved in the deal of Paul Pogba going to Inter Milan, and Milan Skriniar and Perisic coming to United, and potentially a fee involved as well. So what do you think to these guys? And potentially for me, Mourinho's been linked to Toby Alderweireld. We've been hearing rumours about Diego Godin. We've been hearing the rumours about Nikola Milkovic as well. And I'm also going to update you on this video as well, potentially about, I could have done this on this video, I'll do it all in this video anyway, potentially about David De Gea. Reportedly, he's coming to an end of his current contract. Reportedly, there's been no successful signs of him signing his contract extension. I think David De Gea is potentially noticing the lack of ambition in the team, the lack of work ethic in the team. And I just don't think he feels happy, and I don't think he's satisfied here under Jose Mourinho. David De Gea. I don't think he's satisfied here. Reportedly, Mourinho said quite a few weeks ago he wasn't too confident or convinced that De Gea was going to sign his contract extension at Manchester United. Reportedly, he has been here since 2011 as the players we all know anyway. Reason up the ranks, fantastic wealth, Atletico Madrid. Very, very good in Spain in his younger days as well. And he has experienced the good times at Manchester United. But potentially now, according to the press, Man United, he could potentially become the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, could David De Gea. Reportedly, according to this is in the Daily Mail. Reportedly, it says in the Daily Mail, PSG are willing to go for the player next summer. Man United do have the option to extend a further year on his contract, so Man United could cash in on the player rather than let him go to free. We will cash in a lot of money if we do let Pogba and De Gea go, but potentially we're going to have to obviously identify replacements. We're gonna have to identify replacements, but reportedly it says in this is according to the Daily Mail, the main headline. Reportedly, he could become potentially the highest paid goalkeeper in the world if he does join PSG. It says PSG could go for him next. PSG likely to go for him next summer. Reportedly, PSG willing to. It says £60 million are willing to offer, plus they're willing to offer him a salary of £300,000 a week, plus a 4-year deal as well. PSG were known under financial fair play. Obviously, the amount of money they invested on the likes of Neymar and Mbappe when they structured the deal for Mbappe. Reportedly, they had to offload quite a few players, last year, so because they got deals through for Neymar and obviously Mbappe, and they will have to do the same again if they want to get David De Gea. reportedly willing to offer 60 million, £300,000 a week, which would make him the highest paid goalkeeper, and a 4-year deal. But according to other media outlets, Man United are demanding in the region that they want around £75 million to offload David De Gea next summer. Reportedly, it says Juventus have also showed an interest in De Gea as well. Potentially, Man United willing to offer £75 million. There's no sign of him signing this new contract extension at Manchester United. I think he wants to be up there, elevating to a high level and winning silverware. Does David De Gea Old Trafford, and I think he's not too convinced, and like a lot of players here are not too convinced he's going to do this Manchester United under Jose Mourinho as well. As I said, the board need to react fast. You know, he's won player of the year like 4 out of 5 seasons as David De Gea. But potentially for me, yeah, reportedly Man United are willing to offload him for £75 million next summer. It confirmed currently George Mendes, who currently represents David De Gea, has actually confirmed that he has been in potential discussions with Juventus about, you know, Juventus making a potential move for David De Gea next summer. But potentially now PSG are involved, are in the race now with Juventus. And accordingly, PSG are willing to offer him 60 million. Man U are demanding 75 million, but reportedly they're willing to offer him a staggering £300,000 a week plus a 4-year deal for him to go and play in France with Paris Saint-Germain, who I don't like the French league really. Potentially we know Paris Saint-Germain are the best team in France, as we all know. Potentially we know Juventus are the best team in Italy as well. I think, to be fair, Juventus are the best team. I think Italy have got a lot of good players in their squads, you know, especially Juventus. I think defensively in the Serie A, defensively, you know, teams are very, very good defensively a lot in the Serie A. They don't leak a lot of goals, to be quite fair. But potentially, you know, we could see De Gea go next summer. It's confirmed Man United demand they want around 75 million for him. Pogba, maybe go. I think he potentially maybe go. Would he potentially be going next summer? Because due to that Paris Inter Milan under financial fair play, obviously I'm sure he said like they can agree with players, but I don't think they can officially sign players until like next summer. So potentially, unless, you know, I think Juventus could potentially get him in January. But obviously, you know, this will tempt Mourinho now from what Inter Milan have offered. You know, I think this is mainly due to, you know, Marotta, you know, coming in as the new CEO of Inter Milan, because obviously the rumour didn't come, obviously, you know, before he's just been confirmed Inter Milan new CEO. I think Marotta has suggested he's, you know, planned all this of Inter Milan going in for Pogba, because no, he's unsettled at Manchester United. He hasn't proved himself in English football. And potentially this will persuade Mourinho maybe to do this, as we all know. Even though Pogba is an essential midfielder, we know the style of, you know, our balance of play is different without him in the midfield. He was poor yesterday. Martial was poor yesterday. So potentially this will persuade Jose Mourinho, as we all know. And we need to stop playing long balls, and what we need to do is stop playing boring football. We need to stop playing long balls and stop relying on a piece of brilliance from one player, because that's not going to get us in there. Potentially, Manchester United's best player this season is Anthony Martial. You know, Lukaku hasn't been in great form compared to last season. You know, he hasn't scored in like 11 games, so he's on a goal drought. Potentially, Rashford hasn't been to his, you know, potential this season. You know, you've got, I think Anthony Martial's been potentially our best player. He's been in good form this season for us. You know, he's another player. He's another player coming to an end of his deal. Anthony Martial as well. Reportedly, Man United have been in discussions, and his agents have signed him a new deal. It doesn't look successful. Of Martial signed a new deal at the moment. Also, Chelsea and Juventus were also interested in him. He's a young age prospect, still needs to grow and develop. He's 22 years of age. You know, he proved himself well on that left mainly. He played in central position a few times when Lukaku wasn't playing. But potentially, he didn't play that well yesterday, even though he had, you know, chances of his own. And I think potentially Lukaku's a big game bottler, in my opinion. You know, I don't think his first touch is that good. He's proven in the past that he can score goals, Romelu Lukaku. But potentially, I think we need a goal scorer, and you can see that we're lacking goals this season. City have scored 40 goals this season in the league, I think. And how many goals have they conceded? What, is it 5 or 6, something like that? So it just shows that how good they are attackively, how good they are defensively. You know, they've got world-class players in their squad. You know, Liverpool, same. You know, defensively fantastic this season. Attackingly very, very good. You know, Jurgen Klopp's done very, very well. He's emulated the football he did with Borussia Dortmund, and he's done it, brought it to Liverpool. Pep Guardiola, fantastic manager. You can't even compare Jose Mourinho at this moment in time to the likes of Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. He spent a lot of money. He spent £1 billion, more than half it's been spent at Manchester City, and that he spent that billion in his career. And his style of football is amazing. The football Manchester City play is amazing. They are delightful to watch. I hate Man City. I hate Liverpool, but the football they're playing is just so good to watch. And I'll always be honest, even though I am a Manchester United supporter. But potentially Mourinho's also been interested in Marco Alfinic. He's another player that reportedly Mourinho's been interested in. Reportedly, he's worth around £50 million. Reportedly, Mourinho has had a good relationship with him in the past because obviously Mourinho's worked with Orphanage when Orphanage was at Inter Milan, and obviously when Mourinho was at Inter Milan as well. I think he only played 3 times for the Milan Orphanage. Back in, was it 2009-10? Obviously he suffered an injury during his time with Inter Milan Orphanage. Reportedly, it come out last week or so that he did confirm he wanted to be around better players. He did confirm he wanted to depart West Ham, leave West Ham, and he potentially said he wanted to in Champions League football. And he wanted to go to a better team. This was Orphanage's perspective. I know he's been aware of the speculation around him. He's focusing on West Ham at the moment. He's been in the Premier League now, is it 4 or 5 years as Orphanage. He has proven to be a goal scorer in the Premier League. He did it during his days with Stoke City. He was there about 4 years. He isn't too bad for West Ham as well. Is the player. So do you think could Manchester United lead the lines and come to United and score goals? We need a goal. We need a prolific goal scorer. We know Lukaku's been known as a prolific goal scorer of Everton in the past, and he's proven the Premier League. He did it when he first came to Manchester United, but especially this season, he isn't doing it because he's been injured, and when he has been playing, he has been out of form. So we do need a backup option for Romelu Lukaku, and potentially Orphanage has been 20 in the past, then went to Inter Milan, then was he went to Werder Bremen for like 3 years, where he was a regular under Werder Bremen, then went to Stoke, and then obviously now he's at West Ham. He has been at West Ham quite a few years now as the player. According to Carlton Cole, he came out and said West Ham won't let him leave, and he says he's happy at West Ham. Potentially he's Orphanage, but potentially Manchester United have been linked with him as well. So he's potentially been mentioned in the press as well. Potentially he's been mentioned in the press as well. Potentially, regardless of how much we get for Pogba and De Gea, potentially if it does happen, according to the press, it says it could happen. Mourinho, we could see a few players go. We've got a lot of our players coming to the end of the deals. The board and owners obviously focusing on that as well. We've got Smalling, Man United in talks of securing him a new deal. We've got of increasing his salary from how much 80,000 I think a week to 120,000 a week, something like that. Chris Smalling, reportedly, we've got Valencia and Ashley Young that are aging up now. They're both 33 years old. Reportedly Man United are willing to offer them new deals, new further 1-year deals at the club as well. They've experienced the good times at Manchester United. Potentially, Mourinho said he's looking to get rid of Bailey and Rojo. Bailey, who can't even get in starting 11 this season, struggling for game time. Arsenal and Tottenham have reportedly monitored and interested in him as well. Potentially, Rojo for me hasn't been the same player since Anderlecht. When he suffered that bad injury. Darmian did play yesterday. I think he did play quite well for his comeback into the Manchester United squad yesterday. He obviously played at right back. Mourinho gave Darmian the chance yesterday. Obviously, Ashley Young, we know, played at left back yesterday. Yeah, he's been playing at right back under Mourinho, but obviously Ashley Young potentially was fulfilling Luke Shaw's spot, because Luke Shaw currently was suspended yesterday, so he didn't play. So Darmian, I think, could potentially still go. I think from the player's perspective, he wants to leave. There's been a few Italian clubs interested in him. Reportedly, Mourinho wants to keep him at least till the end of the season. Potentially, you've got Man United Herrera, who didn't play yesterday. Been really making substitute appearances this season. One player of the year as well in the past, Herrera. And potentially Ander Herrera, Man United have reportedly been in discussions of signing him a new deal at the club as well. He's coming to an end of his deal at Old Trafford. Same with Mata, who Mourinho put in the middle yesterday. He's coming to an end of his deal as well. He's Juan Mata. Potentially, I think he's been a very, very consistent player since, he came 14, paid just under £40 million for him, and I do really, really like Juan Mata, to be quite fair, so I hope he secures a new deal at the club. These players, the size of this club, the strappings of this club, they want to be up there challenging for silverware, and we're just not doing it. The performances are not good enough. We was on a good run of form, after the Newcastle result, but the performances were not up to scratch. We were lucky to win against Newcastle, lucky to win a Juventus in the Champions League, but in the group stage, but it was a big win. Potentially, we drew with Wolves at home, we dropped points there. We could have lost that game quite easily. Could have lost yesterday. So we could be in a much, much worse position than we're in now, and we're nearly in December, as I said. So potentially for me, we need to get rid of Jose Mourinho. The board need to react now. Potentially, I don't think they are going to sack Jose Mourinho, to be quite fair. I think they should, but I don't think they are going to. I'm just going to think they're going to at least give him till January to see who we can get in the club, potentially. But I think it doesn't matter regardless who we get in the club. I just don't think it's going to dramatically improve us, whilst Jose Mourinho's manager. Because I think his appearance at the club, it's not suiting him. And potentially, that's just my opinion on this situation. Because you thought we'd have beat Palace at home. We have got the squad this squad, is a good squad, because it is a good squad. They're just not. We just learn a piece of building a player. They're just not gelling together as a team. That's the problem. If they were gelling together as a team, creating chances, scoring goals, then it is. But potentially, I think this is a good enough team to season. I think potentially with this season going, David Moyes finished 7th when he was there as well. But potentially, as I said, we've had different managers since Fergie's left with different philosophies and different styles of play. And potentially, Mourinho's style of play at Old Trafford is just absolutely appalling. And I think potentially, Sanchez could leave the club as well. Mourinho says he doesn't expect him to leave, according to him. Sanchez has said he doesn't want to leave Old Trafford. Didn't start yesterday, came on as a substitute, as we all know. He's lacking in front of goal as well. Sanchez, for me, very, very good during his Arsenal days under Arsene Wenger. Good in his under these days, good in his Barcelona days. We know he's on £500,000 a week. I think the fee was potentially free that we got him on, because we got him on a swap deal, with Mkhitaryan. Sanchez hasn't worked out since he's come to the club. He's only scored 4 goals since he's come to the club. He's provided a few assists. But potentially for me, PSG linked him last year. PSG may go, PSG, he may go to PSG. Alexis Sanchez. As I said, because a lot of United fans want to see him go, and we know sometimes it takes players time to settle in. The one Arsenal player we did get, which was Robin van Persie, he was absolutely phenomenal in that season. We won his last Premier League title under Alex Ferguson. He proved himself fantastically well. He's doubted himself well in the team, scored great goals, but he isn't doing it at Manchester United, and that's just a shame to see. So, what do you think anyway to the big breaking news about Paul Pogba? Reportedly, Inter Milan are willing to pay £200 million. They're willing to hijack Juventus's move for him. Reportedly, from the player's perspective, Pogba does want to leave. This has just come into the equation as reportedly Beppe Marotta has currently become the new Inter Milan director. I don't think it's official yet, but it's definitely going to be official soon. It might be now, I don't know. He's the ex-Juventus director. He has a good bond with Paul Pogba. Riley Ola, I think, wants Pogba to depart Old Trafford. He's in the Premier League at Old Trafford. He has made 72 appearances. He has scored 14 goals for Manchester United, I think, since in the Premier League, since he's come in 2016. And we know he's had disputes with Jose Mourinho. We know Juventus are still linked with him. But potentially, I think this will persuade Mourinho to do this. £200 million plus £200 million, the players plus cash deal. But it won't be £200 million if obviously Inter Milan's 2 players are involved as part of the deal. Is probably going to Inter Milan. Reportedly, Inter Milan are looking to sanction a couple of players off, obviously due to financial fair play regulations. As we all know, I think it'd be around £100 million or something if 2 of the players were involved in the deal, or potentially the help. So they want a bit of guidance to Inter Milan, so they try to use try to tempt Manchester United by offering a big fee, or try to use Perisic and Milan Skriniar as part of the deal as well. So potentially for me, what do you think to the big breaking news? What do you think to the De Gea news? Reportedly could potentially become the highest paid goalkeeper. So I'd basically like to know your opinions on this, guys, potentially. So anyway, guys, drop your comments below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe as always, there will be more live videos coming up very, very soon. So take care, God bless, guys, and I'll see you all, guys, all again very soon. Peace.